Imagine a storm of biblical proportions, a tempest so immense it dwarfs entire cities. Picture the sheer raw power of nature unleashed, a force capable of reshaping landscapes and rewriting history. Skies bruised purple, heavy with the threat of unimaginable downpour. The air crackles with an eerie energy, a silent warning of the chaos to come. Winds tearing homes apart, reducing lives and memories to scattered debris. The very foundations of communities are tested, and in some cases, utterly destroyed. Rain flooding cities in hours. Streets become rivers, cars become boats, and the familiar landmarks of urban life disappear beneath a rising tide. We watch these disasters unfold, calling them acts of God, accepting their unpredictability, as if they are simply unavoidable consequences of a chaotic world. We see the devastation on our screens, feel a pang of sympathy, and then move on, believing it's beyond our control. But what if nature isn't the only force at play? What if there's another hand, a hidden influence, subtly guiding these events? What if some disasters are guided, not random? What if the seemingly chaotic patterns of weather are in fact the result of deliberate manipulation? This idea challenges everything we know about our world. It forces us to question the very nature of reality and the forces that shape our lives. Could there be a hidden power turning the elements into weapons? Could lightning, wind, and rain be harnessed and directed with devastating precision? We're taught humanity is at nature's mercy, that we are vulnerable to its whims and powerless against its fury. But what if, for some, the opposite is true? What if a select few have found a way to control nature's power, to bend it to their will? This is a journey into the Shadowlands where science and suspicion meet, where the line between natural phenomenon and deliberate manipulation blurs. We'll travel to Alaska, to a strange forest of antennas, a place shrouded in mystery and speculation, and explore the invisible shield that protects us, the ionosphere, a vital layer of our atmosphere, and the potential to disrupt it. We'll look at disasters that shaped our world and ask, is there a hidden pattern, a deliberate design? Are these events truly random, or are they pieces of a larger, more sinister puzzle? For centuries we've dreamed of controlling the weather, to bring rain, to tame storms, to alleviate droughts and prevent floods. But what happens when that dream becomes a nightmare? When the power to control the weather is used for destructive purposes? What if the power to command the sky falls into secret hands, into the hands of those who would use it for their own gain, regardless of the consequences? We're about to step through a doorway of possibility, where weather isn't just predicted but directed, where the forces of nature are manipulated with precision and intent. A world where the sky itself can be weaponized, where clouds become instruments of destruction and storms are unleashed with calculated malice. The question isn't can it be done, but is it already happening? Are we already living in a world where the weather is no longer a force of nature, but a tool of control? Welcome to the story of HAARP. A story of science, conspiracy, and the ultimate power over our planet. Deep in the Alaskan wilderness, far from bustling cities and prying eyes, lies a peculiar and somewhat controversial facility. A grid of 180 antennas, a forest of metal reaching for the sky, rises from the seemingly barren tundra, a stark contrast to the natural landscape. This is HAARP, the High-Frequency Active Auroral Research Program. Its name alone evokes a sense of scientific intrigue, but also for some, a sense of unease. Officially, and according to numerous government and academic sources, it's a scientific facility dedicated to studying the ionosphere. That's the electrically charged layer of the atmosphere high above Earth, where the sun's radiation interacts with our planet. It's a region vital for communication and navigation. The U.S. Air Force, the Navy, and the University of Alaska all maintain that its purpose is purely for research and scientific advancement. They say it's all about expanding our understanding of this critical region of space. The ionosphere plays a crucial role, reflecting radio waves across vast distances, making global communication possible. Without it, our world would be a much different place. HAARP beams focused radio energy into this layer, creating small artificial auroras to study the ionosphere's behavior and response. They claim this research helps us better understand the effects of solar flares and ultimately protect our vulnerable satellites and electrical power grids from potentially devastating solar events. The amount of energy HAARP uses is relatively tiny, especially when compared to the sun's constant and powerful bombardment of Earth. It's often compared to the power of a flashlight in broad daylight, a small, almost insignificant addition to an already overwhelming force. The project is officially described as an open, university-run endeavor, and one that is wholeheartedly dedicated to advancing scientific knowledge and understanding of our planet's upper atmosphere. But for many observers, this seemingly straightforward explanation feels incomplete, even misleading. Why, they ask, would you need to build such a massive and incredibly expensive facility in such a remote and isolated location, far from major population centers? Is it truly necessary to construct such a powerful array of antennas just to study the behavior of radio waves? The fact that HAARP has military origins and significant military involvement raises even more eyebrows and fuels further speculation. Since when has the military been so heavily invested in what is presented as pure, unfettered academic research with no immediate practical applications? The inherent secrecy surrounding certain aspects of HAARP, combined with its sheer scale and potential capabilities, have inevitably fueled countless suspicions and conspiracy theories. Is it really just about conducting scientific experiments and gathering data, or is there a more complex, perhaps even hidden agenda at play behind the scenes? The official story, as presented by government agencies and academic institutions, is relatively simple and straightforward, but the multitude of questions it leaves unanswered and the lingering doubts it provokes are anything but simple. For a significant number of people, HAARP's true purpose, whatever it may be, remains shrouded in a thick veil of mystery and speculation. And that's precisely where the conspiracy theories begin to take root and flourish, fueled by unanswered questions and a deep-seated distrust of official narratives. Alongside the official story, a darker narrative has grown, a counter-narrative whispered in hushed tones and shared in the shadows. It's a story that challenges the accepted version of events, suggesting hidden agendas and ulterior motives. One of suspicion and fear, fueled by uncertainty and a deep distrust of authority. This narrative paints a picture of a world where nothing is as it seems, and those in power are not to be trusted. Why would the military fund such a project just to study auroras? What possible strategic advantage could be gained from understanding the shimmering lights of the upper atmosphere? The official explanation seems insufficient to many. Theorists claim HAARP is not a passive research tool but an active weapon system, a device capable of far more than mere scientific observation. They see it as a tool for control, a means of manipulating the very forces of nature. They trace its roots to Nikola Tesla's dreams of wireless energy, a vision of a world powered by freely available electricity, transmitted through the air. Tesla's pioneering work laid the foundation for technologies that would later be adapted for both peaceful and potentially destructive purposes. Now twisted for military use, perverted from its original idealistic intent into something far more sinister. The dream of free energy becomes the nightmare of weaponized power. The antennas, they say, form a phased array cannon, a massive structure capable of focusing immense energy into a single powerful beam. This beam, they believe, can be directed at specific points in the atmosphere or even on the Earth's surface, capable of manipulating the environment, triggering extreme weather events, and even disrupting the Earth's natural electromagnetic field. The implications are staggering, and the potential for abuse is terrifying. Alaska's remoteness is for secrecy, not science. The vast, sparsely populated landscape provides the perfect cover for clandestine operations, far from the prying eyes of the public and the scrutiny of the media. As soon as HAARP was announced, the seeds of suspicion were sown. The very nature of the project, its scale, and its location raised immediate questions. Independent researchers and ex-government insiders began connecting the dots, piecing together fragments of information to construct a narrative that challenged the official explanation. They saw patterns where others saw coincidence. They argue, if you can manipulate the ionosphere, the electrically charged layer of the upper atmosphere, you hold the key to controlling a vast range of phenomena. You can manipulate everything beneath it, from weather patterns and seismic activity to even the human mind. It's a theory that sounds outlandish, yet it resonates with those who believe in the power of hidden technologies. Official denials only fuel suspicion. The more vehemently the government denies any wrongdoing, the more convinced the theorists become that something is being hidden. For some, a government denial is confirmation, the ultimate proof that the truth is being actively suppressed. It's a self-reinforcing cycle of distrust and paranoia. The more officials insist HAARP is harmless, the more convinced theorists become that it's a dangerous weapon in disguise, a tool for global domination hidden in plain sight. Thus, the HAARP conspiracy was born, a complex web of speculation, suspicion, and alleged evidence. A dual identity, publicly a research project, secretly a superweapon. It's a narrative of deception and hidden agendas. One story is about improving communications, enhancing our ability to transmit information across vast distances. The other, about creating hurricanes, unleashing devastating storms upon unsuspecting populations, triggering earthquakes, causing widespread destruction and loss of life, even controlling minds, manipulating thoughts and emotions on a mass scale. The divide between these worlds is vast, a chasm of belief that separates those who trust the official narrative from those who question everything. For believers, the truth is being deliberately concealed, hidden behind layers of secrecy and disinformation, for reasons too terrifying to admit, secrets so profound that their revelation would shatter the foundations of our understanding of the world. The question isn't just what HAARP is, what its stated purpose is, or what its capabilities are today, but what it could become, what unforeseen applications might emerge as the technology evolves and advances, and whether we'd ever know if it crossed the line, if it was ever used for purposes that were never intended, and whether we would even recognize the consequences. To understand HAARP's theories, we must understand the ionosphere, a dynamic, electrically charged shield around Earth. It's sensitive, responsive, and deeply connected to the systems below. HAARP's technology is based on resonance-beaming radio waves at specific frequencies into the ionosphere. When the frequencies match, energy is absorbed, heating and expanding a patch of the sky. Officially, this is to study atmospheric effects, but theorists ask, what else can you do by creating a high-energy bulge in the upper atmosphere? This heated region can act as a virtual antenna, reflecting signals back to Earth. One key application, generating extremely low-frequency, ELF, waves. By modulating its energy, HAARP can make the ionosphere itself broadcast ELF waves. These waves penetrate deep into the ground and water, perfect for submarine communication. The line blurs admitted military uses exist, but what else could these waves do? Could playing this celestial instrument influence weather or even more? The most dramatic claim, HAARP can control the weather. The theory is that by heating the ionosphere, HAARP can nudge the jet stream, a high-altitude river of air that shapes global weather. By creating thermal bulges, HAARP could steer storms, divert hurricanes, or create droughts. It wouldn't create storms from scratch but weaponize existing weather, turning it into a guided missile. Proponents point to bizarre weather events and strange cloud patterns as evidence. They argue these are not natural but signs of atmospheric manipulation. The implications are staggering. The power to control weather is the power to control nations. Droughts could cripple economies. Storms could devastate infrastructure. It's covert warfare. No bombs, just plausible deniability. The perfect weapon, untraceable, deniable, and absolute. The question is no longer just about science, but about who holds this power. If weather control is bold, the idea that HAARP can trigger earthquakes is even more extreme. The link, theorists say, is in those ELF waves, capable of penetrating deep into the Earth. Earth-penetrating tomography is real, using ELF waves to map underground structures. But what if, instead of mapping, you could trigger a fault line under stress? Like a singer shattering glass, a resonant frequency could push a fault to slip, releasing built-up energy. HAARP wouldn't create the earthquake's energy, just trigger its release. Theorists point to strange lights and radio interference before major quakes, linking them to HAARP activity. Mainstream science dismisses this as fantasy, but the theory persists. Could a facility in Alaska really shake the world? For some, the possibility is too terrifying to ignore. Beyond weather and earthquakes, HAARP's most plausible military use is in communications warfare. In modern conflict, controlling the electromagnetic spectrum is crucial. HAARP could act as a massive jamming device, disrupting radio communications over vast areas. It could blind enemy radar, sever command links, and create chaos. This is a logical extension of its technology. There's also the threat to satellites, vital for navigation, finance, and intelligence. A focused HAARP beam could fry a satellite's electronics, disabling it covertly. No missiles, no explosions, just a silent, deniable attack. In a world dependent on satellites, this power is immense. The battlefield has moved to the sky and beyond. The most disturbing theory: HAARP could influence the human mind. The brain is an electrochemical organ, operating on tiny electrical impulses. Could external ELF waves resonate with brainwaves, altering mood or behavior? Research shows certain frequencies can affect brain states, alertness, relaxation, even sleep. Theorists claim HAARP could broadcast these frequencies over populations, inducing apathy or agitation. History is full of secret government mind control experiments, MKUltra, and more. Mainstream science says HAARP's power is too low for this. But for some, the possibility of invisible psychological manipulation is the ultimate nightmare. Could technology like HAARP be used to pacify dissent or incite chaos? To find the truth, follow the paper trail patents, treaties, and official documents. Physicist Bernard Eastland's patents from the 1980s describe technology eerily similar to HAARP, lifting the ionosphere, disrupting communications, manipulating weather. These patents were assigned to defense contractors. Eastland later said, HAARP wasn't as powerful as his design, but the blueprint exists. Then there's the 1977 UN treaty banning environmental modification for warfare. Why ban something impossible? The treaty specifically prohibits changing weather or the Earth's structure for hostile purposes. For theorists, patents are the blueprint, and the treaty is proof the technology is real. If governments weren't interested, why file these patents? Why ban weather warfare? Officials say it's all theoretical, but the paper trail suggests otherwise. For many, it's a smoking gun. We've reached the edge of science and suspicion. We've seen HAARP as both research tool and potential weapon. The core technologies are real, the patents exist, and weather warfare is banned by treaty. The debate is about more than one facility. It's about trust and transparency. In a world of secret projects and rapid technological change, how can the public know what's really happening? When trust is broken, suspicion fills the void. Maybe HAARP is just a research tool. Maybe the conspiracies are modern myths. But the possibility, however small, that they're not, is sobering. Who has the power to influence the systems that sustain life? If this power exists, who decides how it's used? Who is accountable? The ultimate question isn't just about Alaska. It's about who we trust with the future of our world. As we look to the sky, we must ask, who owns the weather? And what if we don't like the answer? Subscribe to Behind the Taste for more.